Yo, I'm your host Suicide, and welcome back to Marginal. Now we are really near the end, so I guess we're gonna have one or maybe two more chapters to go and then we're done with this game. I'm really enjoying this so far, so let's continue. Oh, so did she complete the atonement? Today the rain also continued to fall without end. Also, I need to lower up a bit my voice, cause after talking really loudly for the past 40-50 minutes, my throat is starting to really hurt, so pardon me if my voice sounds a bit tired or not energetic enough. Today the rain also continued to fall without end. It was around when the dark night was beginning to change into bright white. I stood up from the bus station bench. It was something that I had put here the other day, something I picked up from the river. Oh, so she did bring that alone. The day changed. With this, the atonement should have ended. Normally, I would have started the day by crushing my throat, but today there was no need. Without any hesitation, I took one step outside the building. As always, the rain continued to fall. However, I did not get wet, because somewhere far up in the sky the drops changed their course and were thrown somewhere else. If I wanted to, I could probably turn the puddles at my feet to streams in an instant and make the flagstones dry. But then why is the rain in the future not doing it? Like, why is she not controlling the water and actually getting wet, and we need to use an umbrella? Why? Without even concentrating, that much was a simple thing to do. I looked up at the white sky and then took a big breath. Words for whatever was probably above the sky. The first voice I've made in 300 years felt somehow different from my own. Seemed like it was from a different person. Oh, so she did find the glove. No, wait, that looks different. Even if they had returned to nothingness, my sister and numerous priestesses who became sacrifices were with me. I declared to the sky, at the one who was supposed to be watching from above the clouds, at the one who sealed me in this world of eternal rain and nothing but horizons, and made me complete the atonement. To the omnipotent one with the power of miracles, I cast my declaration. But there was no reaction. Steadily, rain just fell. Hollow, my voice just reverberated. As always, in a world with only one person, the pitter-patter of rain continuing to fall. Since the day I had come here, eternally without end, only the sound of rain reverberated. Along with my shout, I gathered all the water in the area to one point, and then stretched it up to the sky. It was a spear of water, stretched as if it would stop the white, raining sky. Piercing the clouds far overhead, a high piercing sound came as the air broke the speed of sound. This time, before I finished speaking, a tornado twisted to life. Right now, I was not the powerless child like when I had arrived here. Especially since I had freely obtained knowledge from the real world the past 300 years, there was no comparison to now. Even if I were unable to overcome a god, it was my every intention that I wouldn't be so weak as to be ignored.
だったらこの建物も壊すわ。
I squarely faced the structure that I'd just been resting in. I smashed a giant pillar of water into it. With a rumbling sound, a piece of the large roof began to collapse. I destroyed the thing that had been in this world from the beginning, the Soul Building. Even though it was the only place that could shelter from the rain.
どう？これでもう雨もしのげないわね。
I laughed. A laugh tinged with self-mockery. I wasn't sure myself what I was trying to do. Everything was meaningless. Even though by tomorrow everything would be back the way it was. Even though I knew that myself. Oh, so it would rebuild the building too? Oh. I mean, I guess it makes sense considering when the protagonist came, the building was there.
どうする？罰するの？一人で職王も成し遂げた。これでも負の者に対して別にいいわよ。今以上の罰があるならね。ほら、早くやりなさいよ。
Alone. No matter where you go, it was a world with just one person. And hollowly, only my own voice reverberated. Eternally, without dying, nor even aging, I already obtaining powers that were inhuman. And yet, the mistress of the rainy world had no one to sing her praises, nor to give her counsel. However, just the rain, only the cheers of the rain were raised.
ねえ、何か答えてよ。もうこの世界は嫌なのよ。雨の世界の主の座は返上したいのよ。
The harsh voice had raised had settled. At some point it had become a thin pleading, and that weak whisper was also erased by the sound of the rain.
もういい。もう誰も何も信じない。
If he wasn't going to do anything, I had no choice but to act myself. With that whisper I headed to the river. The place I was headed was what I had once called Upriver. At one time I had taken an extraordinary number of years to arrive, but for me now I arrived in an instant. A place that I hadn't been in centuries, the entrance hall. And like I had seen that day, it was spitting out numerous things from the real world. I recalled that once I'd carelessly put my arm in and everything past my wrist had disappeared.
私にはここしか思いつかない。
Here, meaning a place to die. In this world, it was the place where the possibility of dying might exist. For the exit hole, I was thrown back and was unable to enter, but for this entrance, I was able to put my hand in. However, it had simply been annihilated.
もし死ねばまたお姉ちゃんと会えるだろうか。
With that final murmur, I took a few steps back, forgetting a running start. Building up some momentum, I hurled my body into the hole before me. Throughout my body, a burning sensation spread. It wasn't pain, but heat. My eyes could see red, then it became black, and finally everything was white. In my fading consciousness, I thought I could see something resembling the rainy sky above. Dots. More dots. Just how much time has passed, I wonder? Days? Months? Or could it even have been decades? I awoke to the sound of rain striking water. At some point I had been drifting on the river and was washed ashore.
どうやら死ねなかったらしい。
To be precise, I had died and came back to life. Was brought back to life, probably. I had held the faintest of expectations for that place, but as expected, that was not allowed in this world.
完成するまではどこにも行かせない。何もさせない。
And dying was forbidden. That was probably what he intended. And that was why no one came here, and he probably planned on keeping me in this world of rain forever. I mean, at some point, when the protagonist came, she didn't want to go back for some reason. So what happened that actually made her decide to keep staying in this
分かっ
place?
た。もういい。もう誰も来なくていい。
I looked up at him and muttered,
私を永遠にここに留めるがいいわ。
However, for my part, I will not forgive you.
その受けた罰の分だけ理不尽な運命を、姉の無念を、私の無念をも合わせ、いつしか呪いへと変えてみせよう。
And for a few years after, I spent it watching the real world. Days spent down the river, peering at that exit. It had once taken me a few centuries to come here, but now I was able to arrive in moments. Most likely, with the powers I had now, it was possible for me to go to the far shore or even the ends of this world. But now I couldn't bring myself to want to do that. What would come on it if I checked? The one above the sky would just feign ignorance. That was why I only gazed at the real world from here. Watching a number of generations, reading people's hearts, sometimes I would watch a single person
で
grow
も
up.
それだけのこと、私は見つめるだけ。
Forever without aging, in a 10 years old body, someone forced to spend endless time with endless life. Even though I had the knowledge surpassing humans and can even use magical powers.
雨の世界の主、このたった一人の世界にとらわれの身。
There was nothing more and nothing less to that existence. My existence in this separated world was the same as nothingness.
そう無と同じ。
When I wound up putting it into words, tears overflowed, even though I had thought that I had forgotten how to cry. The large drop of tears once again disappeared into that exit hole. They were the singular proof of myself that I could live in the real world. After that I kept on crying. There was nothing else to do, nothing I could do. Just continuing to cry while being soaked by the rain.
もしいつの日かここに誰かが来たらどうなるのだろう。
When that day came, would I really chase them away, or would I choose to return back to the real world? I was sure that, with how I was now, if I were to return to the real world now, I wouldn't die. I was even confident that I could return without losing my memory. And yet, the desire that someone would soon come, and the desire that someone not come, were half and half.
こんな時お姉ちゃんだったら。
My sister, living an unfair, unfortunate life that quickly ended, even though she had been cheerful and kind, with a cute voice, and had believed in the gods to the very end. If it were my sister, would I be able to be more true to my feelings? when the area had completely turned into night. Looks like you're awake. For that voice, I didn't really have anything to reply with. I slowly raised my body and sat on the bench. When I did, as if it were perfectly natural, that person sat next to me and directed a slightly worried face at me. Considering the time remaining, this would probably be the final conversation with this person. And even when I understood that, the words that came from my mouth were,
まだ帰ってなかったみたいね。
in my usual way of saying things, I just brushed it off like
じゃあ
that.
もう時間がないから行くわよ。
Go? Where to? It will be dawn soon, and in the middle of all this rain.
あなた帰りたいんでしょ。だったら黙ってついてきなさい。
Saying only that, I went ahead and ran outside. In the middle of the rain, I could see that he was following me behind me. Even if he didn't use words, I could read his thoughts. Hey, are we going to that exit?
他にないわ。
I see. I guess it really means I'm the only one who could go back. He made a somewhat sad murmur. In the time he had left, he seemed to be thinking of a way to have me return also. He seemed to feel sorry for my daytime self. Instead of worrying about his own return, he was worried about me, the one being left behind. Could it be that you like them? Them indicating the umbrella in my hand and the shoe, both things that he had fixed for me. Dots. Don't make that kind of face. I'm not trying to criticize you or anything.
別にあるから使っただけ。
With just that, I ran out in the rain. There should only be a little bit of time left. If I let down my guard now, I wasn't sure I could send him back. Once again, we came before the elevator. I struck the call button. In the darkness, the interior of the elevator shone brightly, the door to the real world. And once I send this person back, it will once again disappear. Once again, I will become the mistress of a world with only one person.
もう時間がないから黙って言うことを聞いて。
I declared to the man in front of me I had no intention of taking any questions, and had just one thing to say.
早くそこから帰ってちょうだい。
But no matter what, I'd be sent back automatically, right? Then there's
いい
no...
から早く帰って。
Without intending it, my voice grew harsh. At this rate, my heart couldn't hold up.
嘘よ。あんなの嘘に決まってるじゃないの。
A lie? What's a lie?
本当は自動的に返されるのは古い人順なのよ。
Wait, that isn't the thing that she told him in his side of the story. What? Here, longest?
つまりあなたが帰らないと私が返されちゃうの。
But then, if you can go back, isn't that fine? That was exactly it. After a few hundred, no, after almost a millennium, a new person finally came here. Essentially, that meant the ones above the sky finally accepted that I'm sorry. And also were demonstrating that it was fine for me to return now. However,
今さら帰ってどうなるのよ。もう何年も何百年も経ったと思っているの。知り合いなんて誰もいないわ。生まれ育った場所だって。
that's right. I was the mistress of the reigning world. An existence in this world of only one person who is eternally called upon to repent. Even if the one above the sky has decided that I have repented, I alone must not accept it.
ここが私の世界なのよ。帰
even I knew that being in this place was the same as being nothing, just eternally being rained upon, with no one ever knowing, continuing to cry. But if I accepted three things, that this injustice, my sister's regrets, they would all become nothing. That was why I will not repent, will not forgive. That's what I resolved in my heart. I'm sure that right now my heart had been just a bit weak. I was just thrown off by the first person to have finally come. After this, no matter how many people come here, I will show that I can send them all back. Eventually, with him standing in front of the elevator door, I get it. I'll go back. But in exchange, while I'm at it, I'll give this to you. Saying that, he took off the other shoe and he wore and offered it to me.
いらないわよ、こんなブカブカの。
Don't say that. Having a matching pair on your feet is better.
分かったわ。
Grudgingly, I put on the matching shoe. I didn't need it myself, but my sister, Rin, would be happy. Do you think we will meet again? Wait. Wait. I think I'm starting to actually connect things now. Because I was thrown off before, like some chapters ago, because she said that Rin was her sister, and apart from herself calling herself Rin, she was never actually shown. There's never been someone that called her actually Rin, except for the protagonist, because that's what he was told. But so, if I'm not wrong, the thing is, Rin was her sister, and she created the daytime personality, and that daytime personality was supposed to be Rin, like her sister, when like without the whole, thing where she couldn't talk and whatever. So like if she was just an innocent girl, and while the nighttime remained this girl, whose name I really don't know. If I'm correct, I might be really just off by a mile, but
無理ね。
hey, you don't have to be so blunt.
もし会えたなら、私でなく優等生のはずよ。
That's right. Sis is different from me. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Bright and cheerful, honest, someone not suited to this place.
まあこれでさよならってことね。
Saying that, I tried smiling, enough that even I thought I didn't seem like me. I managed to say it in a cheery big voice. Why is it that, in the end, you can show me that kind of smile?
そりゃ笑ってないとやってられないでしょ。それじゃさよなら。
And so, I sent back the first person that came to this place. I had no idea when the next person would come. It could be another few centuries. It could even be that no one would ever come again. Even if someone did come, eternally it would just repeat like this. I have no regrets. I have no regrets. That's how I decided to think about it. Oh. You know what? Fuck it. We have time for another one. Today was also endless rain.
あの人元気そうね。
showing faintly inside the hole was the image of that person. Wait, isn't this similar to the prologue? Or something like that? Haven't I seen this scene before? It seems that he had lost his memory of this place and had returned to his daily life without trouble. Even if he were to forget about me, to me he was the only proof of my existence. I managed to live in the real world. Much better than leaving only tears. Even if one day my memory fades and I can't recall a name nor face, just like this endless rain, let this memory be my nourishment for eternity. Once again, I returned to that usual place. I sat down on that usual bench and vaguely watched the rain. There was nothing else to do. Then I suddenly realized I had unconsciously sat on the edge of the bench, even though there wasn't anyone who would come. I could tell myself that, I understood that in my head, and yet, tears overflowed. While this body couldn't pass through, for some reason, the tears alone could go back. Whether that fact made me angry or sad, I didn't even know myself. As I vaguely pondered that, it happened then.
泣かないでよ、ミコ。
Oh, she's back. Yay. A familiar voice, and an already forgotten name that I had been called by.
イラツメ、どうしてここに？
Right there was my predecessor, the original mistress of this world. Her clothing was different, but without a doubt it was
だ
her.
ってほら、また来るって話してたでしょ？でも、
Oops, I cut her up again. Without realizing, my words trembled and tears once again flowed. Since that day, close to 1,000 years had passed, and yet
だからミコ、泣かないでったら。この世界のものは現世に入れちゃダメなのよ。特にあなたの涙は厄介だからね。
they do.
何のこと？まあいいわ。今更だし、あとは人が何とかするでしょ。
Saying that, Lady made a happy smile. Her way of saying people will, it was probably because she was aware that I was different from people. But how was she able to come here? This was supposed to be a place you couldn't come of your own free will.
だから言ったでしょ。私は特別だって。伊達にここで長年過ごしてなかったわよ。まあそうは言っても、あなたも似たくらいにはなったみたいだけどね。でもどうして今になって？私だってあれから何度も来ようとしたのよ。現世は退屈だったし。だけどどうやっても来れなかったの。不老不死まで手に入れたこの私ですら。
I quietly listened to her explain such amazing things as they were nothing. But even then, why was it that she could return now? Thinking about how almost a millennium has passed, you could say it was very sudden. And as for myself, as always, I had no recollection of repenting. In fact, I had been in the midst of practically turning it into a curse.
まあ多分だけど、あなた泣くからよ。泣く？それに何の関係が？それか。根負けしたんじゃないの？神とやらも。
Oh really? Saying that, she showed me another small
こ
smile.
れだけ時間かけても反省しないんじゃ、さすがに神だって投げるわよ。そうかもね。
Caught up in this, I smiled just a little bit too, even though I thought I had already forgotten how to
と
smile.
ころで、先日の彼はダメだった？先日の？これでもあなたに合いそうないい人を選んだつもりだったんだけど。
Oh yeah, so I was right. She's the one that picked him and made him come here.
もしかしてイラつめがここによこしたの？
そうよ。あのままあなたがここから出て行ってくれることを願ったんだけどね。
So that's how it was. Could it be that lady really had no intention of coming back? Because I had chosen the rainy world, she might have reluctantly come to take me back. But even if I go back now, even if I wasn't going to die, I already had no more connection to the real world. I had also just the other day willfully thrown away that last chance. And plus I had no regrets, told myself that I had no regrets. So, after all that,
追いかけなさい。今なら間に合うわ。現世との唯一のつながりがあるうちに。
saying that, she pointed at the small hole at her feet. Unlike the big hole in the river, it was just large enough for a single person to pass through.
私の入ってきたとこだから遠慮なく使って。
Oh, so she's telling her to go back, like to the real world, and like spend time, or I don't know what exactly to do, but with the protagonist, the guy.
それではイラつめが。
いいのよ。そろそろ現世も飽きたし、当分ここで過ごすから。
I mean, she'll have other opportunities to go back to the real world, I guess.
抵抗しても無駄だからね。手足ちぎってでも返すから。
Exchanging places with me, Lady tried to once again return to the rainy world. Her somehow light-hearted way of saying it made it all the more heartbreaking. It's not like I don't want to go back either, but...
そういえば、ミコ。あなた、名前は？
It's not Rin.
私の名前。
I can't remember. So much time had passed, the memory of being called by name was far in the distant past. Oh yeah, cause... like when she was with her sister didn't call her by name because she didn't talk. And especially like the head priest or other people didn't really call her by name, I think. She was just actually a priestess or a sacrifice for the atonement. The only thing I barely remember was only my sister's name, Rin.
反省も許しもしなくていいから。お姉さんの分まで幸せになってやりな。
Saying that, she once again made a cheerful face, and then gave me my back. A light push forward.
じゃあ、ミコ、元気でね。
ありがとうイラつめ。
ああ、ついでにあなたの記憶邪魔でしょ。取ってあげるわ。
Oh.
ちょっと待って。
だから抵抗しても無駄だって。たかが数百年ここにいたくらいで本来の主である私にかなうわけないでしょ。
How long what? How long has she been here? One week later, July, Friday. Burning sunlight, the cries of cicadas. A sky after the rainy season was so clear it was almost sad. But it's still raining a bit. It was strange weather where, even though the sky was clear, a misty rain was falling. I believe they call this the Fox's Wedding, right? The puddles on the asphalt reflected the clear blue sky, and the falling raindrops made a number of overlapping rings. Oh well, with just this drizzle, getting wet would be fine. More importantly, I was worried about the bus time. Right now it was 7:50 in the morning and 30 seconds. I had been waiting for a while, but it still hasn't come. The bus is late again. Even though there was still time, it if it's too late, I'll be late to work. I'm thinking about it now, but technically, Rin has obtained immortality, right? Rin, or I'm gonna call her Rin because I don't really know her name, or just the priestess, or Miko. I'll call her Miko. But if she's been denied her memories, and then she spends her life without knowing anything, but still has her immortality, and she never ages and whatever. Isn't it like? Wasn't it better to leave her memory at that point? Even though nothing will change if I do it, I couldn't help but repeatedly glance at my watch. Oh well, worrying won't do anything. Half giving up, I sat down on the bus stop bench. And then checked my watch again for the uptime time. If it doesn't come in 5 minutes, maybe I should walk.
今って何時でしょうか？
Sitting next to me was some girl. Huh? It's about 7:55.
もうそんな時間なんだ。遅刻しちゃうかも。
While sitting on the bench, she flapped her feet. I'm not too sure, but she seemed to be an interesting one.
よし、走っていこう。
Quickly standing up from the bench, and within a moment she dashed. No, she didn't. Because the paddle right in front of her interjected.
滑っちゃった。
Whoa, hey, are you alright? Without thinking, I ran over and offered my hand.
すみません。ありがとうございます。
Sitting squarely in the street, the girl had a bit of an ashamed look on her face. Looking closely, she was wearing loose shoes. Well, of course you trip with those. As I was vaguely thinking that,
なんか私、靴ブカブカじゃないと落ち着かなくて。
huh? Oh, I see. How strange. Before I could say anything, she answered me first. Could I have had this experience many times before?
おかげでよく転んじゃって。
You need to be more careful, there's a lot of puddles after the rain. She seemed a bit young. Maybe she's a kid from the neighborhood? I mean, she's technically way older than you could ever imagine. But she was wearing a familiar looking old girl's school uniform. But for a girl in the neighborhood to be going to that old girl's school, it was pretty surprising. I hadn't seen her here before. Or maybe she normally didn't use the bus.
雨上がりそうですね。
Hmm? Ah, you're right. Oh well, since the bus isn't coming, I guess I'll walk.
これだったら傘なしでも大丈夫ですよね。
The two of us folded our umbrellas and started walking. Bright blue sky reflecting off of the wet asphalt. The two of us would turn around and occasionally jump as we went.
ちなみにどちらまで行かれるのですか？
Hmm? I'm going to the station at the last stop.
実は私もそうなんですよ。
Well, walking by myself is a bit lonely.
一緒に行きましょうか。
We started to walk side by side. Next to me, the girl was hopping over the puddles. She's a cheerful and honest child, rare for this day and age, even if she's a bit childish. Plus, it didn't feel like this was the first time we've met. No, it isn't. Hey, have we ever met before?
ないわ。
Oh. That's a straight answer. What was that?
あるわけないじゃないの。
All of a sudden, her whole manners seemed to change. You could say intimidating, like the cute mannering she had suddenly picked up a ton of force.
なんかたまにつ
さい。
So she still does have memories. Really? How odd. I think she still has her memories. Mixed with the voice of the cicadas, her laughing voice rang out, announcing the end of the long rainy season. Up to the rainy sky that had finally cleared up, her laughing voice carried far. Okay. So that was a thing. Ooh.
完全に記憶は消せなかったみたいね。
Yep, I called it. Well, she hadn't been here for a long time for nothing either.
まあいいわ。そのうちまた会うこともあるでしょ。
Without me going, with her powers right now, she could probably come if she wanted to. No, she won't be coming. Having enough after just a few hundred years, I've got a feeling she would choose to live quietly in the real world. While mulling over that, I headed out to the falling rain. As always, rain that had forgotten how to stop. Most likely it will keep falling forever. I wonder when the next time someone will come here will be. A few years later? A few decades? Or perhaps much
で
more.
も心配いらない。私が泣かないから。
Once again, I've returned to being the mistress of the rainy world. No one is here. Nothing is here. Mistress of a world where only rain falls. Out of an unexpected whim, I had given up this throne for just a bit. But the next person who will overthrow this throne probably won't appear for a while. Wait, what? Bonus episode? I guess I could take a look at it. At least for now. I hope you enjoyed watching. I've been your host Suicide, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.